Well, we just completed another NXT Takeover, a show that a lot of people didn't really have as much hope going in as usual takeovers. Doesn't seem like there was that much hype behind it. A lot of people weren't even talking about it. Usually, when it comes to a weekend where there's a pay-per-view and a takeover, more people are talking about the takeover than the pay-per-view. And with this being the literal biggest in size and stature Royal Rumble, quite possibly of all time, coming up tomorrow, there was not as many bright lights on NXT tonight. But that didn't mean anything because they definitely came out and delivered quite a great show for the crowd in San Antonio. Welcome to another edition of the NXT Takeover, now San Antonio podcast, exclusively here on the Popcast Network. My name is Owen. Joining me, as always, we have Ashley.
Yep.
And he's going to echo, apparently, for a minute at least.
Well, yeah.
But I think you have a message for the fan in the crowd. Yep.
Yeah. There
you go.
See,
You know what sums it up?
An L. Do you know what the L is for? The L
Glorious.
Yeah, it's glorious. You had one job, fan and crowd, one job, and you. It's like the people that like have their no
Kevin
shirt.
Dunn was framing that shot, and it's like it's perfect. God damn it! The shit in the crowd forgot his letter.
Well, the thing about it is usually it's like you go to sporting events and you see those guys that are wearing, like, not really wearing any shirts. They just have their chest painted and they're trying to spell out words and everything. And there's that one guy that just went to the bathroom at the wrong time when they were showing the crowd shot. That's exactly what happened here.
I tell you not a fucking lie. When I went shopping earlier today,
Right.
They've got a whole bunch of candles with letters on the side of the alphabet.
Oh, God.
So, of course, somebody went to them and put cunts Walmart.
Wow.
So, of course, what I did was flip the letters around, and in case that person saw it on the way back, I just put the word dunce. Yes.
So yeah,
I am truly up there with the Bobby Roodes of this world.
Oh boy. So we've got another takeover to talk about, and we've done a lot of these. Actually, we've talked about pretty much every single takeover that we've had the opportunity to do so, including the takeover I was at.
From trying to think when we started. Would it have been? It wouldn't have been the end, would it? Because that was only last year.
I did our evolution myself. It wasn't a podcast. I did a video about the live experience.
I guess the one that the first live podcast we did.
Yeah.
31. Oh no, it wasn't there, was it?
Nope.
I didn't have. What was the one after that then?
I mean, the NXT show where the ladder match with Bo Dallas and Adrian Neville. I definitely remember calling that.
You covered that one yourself, but
I covered it myself. That was Arrival. And then the first NXT Takeover was Neville and Tyson Kidd. And then Fatal 4-Way with Kidd, Neville, Zayn, and Breeze. Then Our Evolution, and then Rival with Zayn and Owens. And then Unstoppable with Zayn and Owens again. I mean, I know we covered Brooklyn for sure.
Would it have been? So it must have been Unstoppable then.
I'd say so. Popcast, I'd say so.
May of 2015, because I think you did Rival yourself.
Yeah, that's probably right.
Or were you at? I can't. No, you weren't at Rival, were you?
I was at Our Evolution.
Yeah.
When Zayn won the title from Neville.
Mhm.
Because there's video. I have video footage on the network of Sami Zayn's celebration after the match is over.
Yeah, because we certainly did Brooklyn, so yeah, it must have been unstoppable.
Yeah, so we've been doing this for quite a while when it comes to NXT Takeover.
Yep.
And we've covered
at least 10.
Right.
I think this actually is the 10th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, it isn't. The next one will be the 10th.
Right.
Which we won't be able to do because that juicy fuck on the other side of the bloody call is going to the fucking thing.
Yes, I am. Our first, that is correct. Our first NXT Takeover was Unstoppable.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking at it right now, actually. So yeah, Unstoppable was the first podcast we did, and I covered.
The thing is,
Takeover and Fatal 4-Way.
What the hell is NXT Takeover Liberty Bell going to be like in 12 months' time?
I'm just curious what the Orlando show is going to be called.
Especially the town and that they're going to be in.
We're in ECW country.
Well, not just that. I'd say that's more of a wrestling town than San Antonio.
Oh, without a doubt. Well, I mean, if you want to talk
I think half the people that went to this show were not wrestling fans.
Yeah.
Because they kept chanting, apparently, for every match, bar the mini running segment, they chanted, "This is awesome." And the thing is, really, none of the matches were awesome.
I mean, this isn't a bad show. And
no, but I don't think it was awesome. That is proof that is now getting way too overused.
My apologies to Dr. Aiden Quinn. I didn't have the actual chat up at the time. Yeah, he said he got a boat leave. I was trying to check something up. My apologies for not having a chat open. So, here's the interesting thing about Takeover. The weird thing that's going on right now is NXT, to some extent, is in a rebuilding process. And that's what happens when you lose your entire roster, pretty much. Like your big main eventers, you bring them up to the main roster. Then you have to see what everybody else can do. And you're going to give a lot more people opportunities that didn't have it in the first place or wouldn't necessarily have had it right away because they have to shine on the big stage because NXT is a proven brand. And I'll say right now, I was watching Bobby Roode's Instagram after you showed me the Glorious Bomb, which is absolutely amazing. If you haven't seen it, it's on my Twitter.
The one-off return of the Glorious Bomb. I think they're going to do one tonight, just him with the belt and just like actually not being pissed and just actually nodding.
Yeah, I think it'd be interesting given what happened tonight. That Bobby Roode is the one that's smiling, and Gargano and Ciampa are the ones that are kind of Bobby Rooding it up. Dr. Aiden Quinn says we need a great arena for NXT soon, possibly in Atlanta. We've been hearing a lot about WrestleMania going back to Atlanta, going back to Georgia Dome somewhere down the line. And forgive me if I'm not speaking like the correct location because I don't know jack about sports, as you guys know, and don't care either. But the big arena in Atlanta, the big bowl stadium, I would love to see Atlanta get another WrestleMania. I'm very surprised, to say the least, that they're going back to New Orleans so quickly. But I guess that's a story for another night.
The thing is, we know that Atlanta isn't getting it for, I'd say, for at least a couple of years.
Right.
Because I don't think Goldberg wants to go in the Hall of Fame yet. Because if anything, if they do the Hall of Fame in Georgia, he is obvious pick number 1 now to go in.
Well, here's the thing, Ashley. You have to look at it from this perspective too. I think knowing another reason that Atlanta is not getting Mania anytime soon would be the fact that they're putting Diamond Dallas Page in the Hall of Fame this year. And you would think that they would put Page in a WCW version or a WCW Light version of the Hall of Fame in Atlanta with Goldberg leading. And that's probably another reason why Rick Rude's going in this year, because they're not looking to put Mania in Minneapolis, which is another place that Rude would rightfully go in.
Mm-hmm.
Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
They all get called different things now.
Yeah, it's funny because it's officially called the Camping World Stadium, but if you look at all the WWE promotion for WrestleMania, it's actually saying Citrus Bowl. So yeah, WrestleMania,
because they don't have I guess they don't have a deal with Camping World.
Maybe. I mean, that's just like calling the Super Bowl the big game most places because they don't have the rights to say it. Again, I don't care because I know jack about football and don't care anyway, but these stadiums are going to be where WrestleMania is going to be.
I call it the bowl of soup because then you can say, is it chicken? Is it tomato? Is it mulligatawny?
My response, Mr. Soup Nazi, is the fact that...
Hot soup!
My response to that is that day is just another Sunday that I have nothing to do but watch Twitter. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where everything goes this year, honestly. NXT, like I said, Triple H did a conference call. We'll get a little bit more into that on Wednesday. I'm sure we'll have the full report on Wednesday, at least the highlights for it. Because I think Dave will put something out on that, and we can abbreviate a little bit. But the thing is,
Dave was on it.
Yeah, no, I mean he could put something out so we can abbreviate what was actually said. So basically, NXT rebuilding period, and I don't think Triple H is very happy with the direction the company is going right now, given the fact that, let's look at it. I mentioned the Glorious Bomb. Well, the real point for me bringing that up was the fact that on Bobby Roode's Instagram, Ashley, earlier today, Bobby Roode went on his Instagram and announced tickets were just released for TakeOver. So they were trying to paper that crowd even more so tonight to make it look fuller than it was. Because TakeOver's not been sell TakeOver and Rumble didn't sell out. Neither show sold out. They're going to be heavily papered. They were tonight and they will be tomorrow. And then you've got Orlando, which is basically WWE headquarters outside of Connecticut. And it's pretty much the new New York at this point when it comes to WWE programming and where they run everything. I think at this point that TakeOver's already sold out. Raw and SmackDown are already sold out. WrestleMania's still got plenty to go.
I've just realized next week it's going to be fucking insufferable.
Okay.
Because they're going to keep, oh, look, Goldberg's from Atlanta. Stephanie's a Patriots fan. That's clearly going to become some sort of bloody angle. The night after the Super Bowl.
I wouldn't be shocked if... No, I wouldn't be shocked. No, screw that. They're going to do it on SmackDown with Cena and AJ. Literal Atlanta versus New England. Come on.
That could then play into Chamber because that's at the week after.
Right.
They'll try and find a way to do it multiple times.
They'll probably do it on both shows.
Daniel Bryan, because that we've already established that's all that WWE are doing. They're just pissing off Daniel Bryan with every single story.
Yeah,
I certainly see your point with the Triple H thing because hell, he hijacked his own show to get a gimmick over for Raw, which is going to feature Triple H in a match.
Right.
He's already got the spear. Already talked about supposedly Brian James now being, if not SmackDown.
He's helping Ryan Ward write SmackDown. He doesn't have the power that a lot of people thought he did.
I don't fucking care. This is what we need.
No, see, that's another reason too, Ashley. Ryan Ward was the reason why NXT was so great. Because with Triple H and Ryan Ward writing the shows, that is the reason why that show got over like it did. Because a real wrestling fan was writing the shows.
Oh, I forgot. I thought the guy from NXT went to Raw.
No, he went to SmackDown. He went to the wrestling
probably
show.
Why that's been the better show.
Right.
That's why that's been the better show for the last few months.
Exactly. And the thing is, Ryan Ward started out just like we did. Ryan Ward started out with a podcast that was in Cleveland. And they did a weekly show on Sports Talk Cleveland called Sunday Night Submission. And Ryan Ward got noticed. And sure enough, he went from talking about the guys of the Indies to bringing the guys of the Indies into his booking plans.
Now I realize why Owen's doing this. It's not for my benefit. I want to get a job at Stamford.
I mean, I don't think
God
I have.
Damn it! I've been played like a motherfucking pro. Yeah. This is further fucking proof that I'm the Marty Jannetty of this pair. Holy shit!
Not when it comes to
What
British
the
wrestling,
hell, man?
sir.
God damn it!
Well, you're able to watch a lot more than I am, and I understand that too. But seriously though, when it comes down to it, Triple H isn't happy with the direction everything's going, so he basically is trying to make it work, regardless what it takes.
Yeah.
And I'll commend him for that because he's actually made some really good stuff out of this. I don't know who's booking NXT right now currently, but what they have to work with, they're doing quite well with. Unfortunately, it's not as over as it used to be. As a matter of fact, remember the days that Full Sail used to pack, and they would be hard as all get out to get tickets. I know people that have been trying to get into Full Sail back in the day and had to wait and wait and wait and just hope no one showed up and they could get their ticket. Now it seems like they're not as heavy into going as much as they used to be.
You know why, though, don't you?
Right.
They're all going to fucking PWG. Yeah, when you've got people that buy front row tickets and then sell them on for 10 times as much because people want them that much, I don't even care if that's arguably illegal.
See, that used to happen.
Shows you. Yeah. I know that used to happen for NXT, but you know, they're trying to make a big thing out of the whole, you know, UCF stuff.
Yeah, totally. And it's going to be a big show.
But
I will guarantee you UCF will be a big show. Something big will happen on that show.
Will they have to pay for it?
I don't think so, honestly. Because when they find out that venue's on sale, and I believe those tickets went on sale Friday. I think they went on sale yesterday, actually, to be honest. I'm not positive, but I think they did. They will sell that building out. For sure.
Have we got Ticketmaster things on that?
Yeah.
It's the Mike Goldberg line. Oh, we're bringing it back even though he doesn't work anywhere. Our tickets still available. I mean, I can certainly understand what happened tonight. Well,
okay.
Certain things got a bit complex reasons, but yeah, I can see why they didn't want to give Elias Sampson time on pay-per-view. Because has he wrestled on an NXT pay-per-view yet?
Elias Sampson is fine, and everybody needs to get off their skates. He's easily the most hated man on the roster right now.
The best bit was when bloody Finn Balor smacked the fucking guitar over his head. Like he was Beetlejuice back in Monday Nitro.
I mean, I've been following him since the Indies, and obviously Corey Graves knows him very well because they both worked in the Pittsburgh Indies scene. And everything that, I'm looking at this. Yeah, everything here on the takeovers, he's worked in like the dark match. So this continues.
So I've just realized that means he's going over in the main event in 12 months' time, isn't he?
No, I doubt it. I mean, I'm the only one that seems to want to do anything with him when it comes to pushing him.
He's going to go over.
I mean, I've been saying it for a while.
He's going to win the NXT title.
Thank you for joining us, Aiden.
Takeover Philly.
So you were asking me about tickets. Tickets went on sale. They didn't go as fast as they could have. I'll give you that. The Gold Circle ringside seats right now, there are 10 available by the ramp. There is 60 available one gen admission, 57 in the other, 59 in the other. Gold Circle around ringside is 17 and then 16 on one side. So Owen can't do math. I'm going to try. So it's not sold as fast as it could have or would have in the past, but I still think that it will be, it'll sell just fine.
Still pretty good. You know, if there's less than 100 seats available in each section.
Yeah, there is exactly. So yeah, I think that UCF show will be something big. Triple H talked about it, that and the return to going to Miami and doing new venues that NXT hasn't taken on before. And it's to build more anticipation in the Florida area for more people to watch NXT, and then more people will want to go to TakeOver, and then they're going to see, we can't go, it's sold out. So what we're going to do is we're going to go on the third-party ticket sites, like we did, and actually buy tickets to the event. Because NXT sold out in 2 minutes. TakeOver Orlando sold out in literally 2 minutes. And there were no seats left. Both pre-sales sold out. So you had to buy tickets from a third party. That's how we got the seats we do. So, yeah, this became an interesting conversation to start off the podcast.
Wow, it's. I was going to say change. It's more readjusting.
Right. Exactly. But
and
I mean,
it's going to start with that stuff. Clearly, you know, to try and help issues, because if they were papering it as bad as the indication seemed to be, clearly the indication is they need to get people more connected with the brand.
Yeah, exactly. And running stuff in Florida is going to be even better, especially for Mania, because that's going to get people to want to watch the product. That's why we have the shows in Orlando, the shows in Winter Park at Full Sail. They have the house shows that are all around the state of Florida. Obviously, you want to build that brand, and NXT is Florida, without a doubt.
It says it at the end of every fucking show.
Yeah, it does.
Filminflorida.com.
Yeah, basically.
That's the other reason why they don't want to go to Georgia. They don't want to put up the Georgia with the orange logo. Because they have to every bloody time, don't they?
Right. So yeah, let's talk about this NXT Takeover San Antonio. I guess we could possibly get into the Rumble a bit after the show's over. It just depends on my mood at the time, to be totally honest.
Considering some of the things that happened and appeared in the show, it makes sense too.
We'll possibly get into that then. So we have another hour pre-show. I'm telling you right now, these pre-shows, before I get into any awesome thing that did happen because of this pre-show, I will state right now that these pre-shows are an easy way to burn the crowd out. And doing a 2-hour pre-show with matches is one thing, doing an hour pre-show that's just a recap is another. Like, we had these extra matches that we were going to put on for the live crowd, which I'm positive are going to go on NXT television next week or in the next couple of weeks.
Let's be honest. If you look at what they did,
right?
You know, Nigel was very good in the pre-show.
Yeah, he was. Absolutely.
Corey was very good on the pre-show.
Right.
Charlie was deer in the fucking headlights. She was more natural than she's been.
Right.
But like certain of the lines, it was just like, you know. So there you go. The guys have spoken. Like, okay. Whatever. Renee's back. At least I'm hoping Renee's
would be
back.
Nice. and it's funny because this was Corey's last show with the NXT brand. And this was when, I mean, going back to my first takeover, when Corey retired from actual active competition to join the announce team, we've completely come full circle now.
Yep.
And now he's weekly on the main product, which is a great thing. But I'm also happy, like you were, Ashley, that Tom Phillips gets to do something other than just play host.
And also, from this week's NXT, Nigel's on WWE television on a weekly basis.
You're correct. Which means that apparently Percy Watson went from being the awkward babyface to the even more awkward heel overnight.
You'd have thought, but the thing is, Nigel's been a very good heel in his career, so...
Yeah, but he's already showing babyface tendencies here, so I have a feeling that he's going to stick with his analyst position that he had during the UK tournament with Michael Cole. That's my guess. He could turn up the heel if he really wants to, but I mean, if they don't want him to do that, they could make Percy Watson the heel.
Yeah.
Real quick, like I said, there were 4 matches that were taped for the live crowd. They're going to be airing on NXT on February 1st. So that's official. In the first match, Wolfgang defeated Aaron Solo. Yes, Mr. Bailey himself. Ember Moon. Yeah, Mr. Bailey. Aaron Solo is Bailey's boyfriend.
Oh, I thought you said Wolfgang was Bailey's boyfriend. I was getting fucking petrified then.
No, Bailey was hanging out with Scott Dawson at Halloween Horror Nights, not Wolfgang, so yeah. Ember Moon over Aaliyah. Obviously, she wins with the Badman Rising. Tyler Bate defeated Oni Lorcan with the Tyler Driver 97. And No Way Jose ended the show by defeating the Drifter Elias Sampson with the fastball punch.
Fucking Tyler Bate versus Biff Busick.
Yes. I look forward to seeing this match this coming Wednesday.
Yeah. If I guess that means Tyler might be on NXT?
It is possible.
Like, not just on a one-off basis? I don't know.
It is possible.
I guess if they've got to be over for Shikara shows and whatever, they can probably be here.
I mean, there is a possibility. You remember how I've been talking about for 2 years now a secondary championship for NXT?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of bringing in a regular championship, I mean, they could, even though they really haven't made any sort of ruling who can contend for it.
Have a British wing of NXT.
In essence, basically.
Oh my God. Tyler Bate versus Killian Dane.
Yes.
Now the question is, would Tyler be able to get him up for the Tyler trophy?
He goes for it. And here comes Wolf to make the save. And then here comes Trent Seven from the back. Some sort of a chair, most likely, to chase Sanity out. And then we have Mustache Mountain versus Sanity. Yes, please. I want to see this.
Mustache Mountain versus the Authors of Pain.
Oh, God. Got to get those titles off them somehow. We'll get to that later, obviously, because I have lots of things to say.
Can we talk about Oh, sorry. I need to do it right. Can we talk about... Because that first promo she did...
Poor Kayla.
Yeah, when she was in the crowd, she couldn't, talk like a normal thing. The fans here are excited to see what's going to be happening tonight. I want to go to get some Tex-Mex. That might have been in the second promo, but whatever. But literally in the first promo, she's like, it's great to be here. And, the main event and, the NXT Awards are all happening tonight. It was like, why are you sort of muting yourself? I'd have thought if you want to disguise the fact that there's no fucker there, you'd want to be louder.
Right.
In all honesty.
And she also gets... She also
didn't fit.
She also gets the distinction of having to stand with the crowd.
Yeah. Well, let's be honest. The desk stood with the crowd as well.
Yeah, there was a lot more people that were sneaking behind the desk than usual tonight.
The amount of crowd that were behind them that were trying to hijack the shit. Yeah. The really depressing thing is they were doing Corey chants. Nobody gave a fuck about Nigel.
I mean, I think that they were... Yeah, it's one of those... That was kind of a catch-22, because if you introduce the fact that Corey Graves, who is beloved by the NXT audience, is leaving the promotion to join up the main roster full-time, anybody they bring in, the general public fans that don't know any better, are probably going to be like, we want Corey back. But then there's that 15% that were in the crowd tonight that were very happy to see Nigel on commentary.
Do you think Dean should call it a Nigel now?
I totally do.
I think it makes sense because he's there.
Oh, even if they don't, I'm still going to keep calling it that, and hopefully, eventually, somebody will follow suit. So
mainly just because you watch too much NXT.
Yeah, I have been watching quite a bunch of
PWG.
Yeah, well,
it's bloody hell.
That's not my fault.
The way Excalibur calls a Nigel, it's just like Steve Corino and Superkicks.
Right. So after Nigel gets introduced, we get the announcement of the awards basically throughout the duration of the 1 hour pre-show.
Yes.
There was you asked me about the 7th award, which wasn't given out, and that is Takeover of the Year. I guess it was never given out.
There is no Takeover of the Year. They're all fucking shit.
It hasn't happened yet. So Breakout of the Year between No Way Jose, Ember Moon, Andrade Cien Almas, Sanity, and Billy Kay and Peyton Royce. Peyton and Billy win somehow.
Jesus Christ. I thought we stopped rigged shit because of all the problems.
Nigel knows a little bit about that now, doesn't he?
What the fuck was he in that was rigged?
Well, the fact that you talk about things being rigged, there's a reason why things have to be rigged when you run a poll on your website and all the fans vote to give him a world title shot.
Oh, right. Sorry. I forgot he was in TNA.
Yeah, his friend Desmond.
Ironically, as Wolf.
Yeah, exactly. Desmond Wolf.
It's taking over.
Totally. Match of the year goes to DIY and the Revival. 2 out of 3 falls from NXT Takeover Toronto. I would have
right competitors, wrong match.
Yeah, you did mention the SummerSlam match from Takeover Brooklyn is probably a lot better, and it is overall. But I guess it's quantity over quality this time around, I guess you would say. The longer match, the more intricate match, instead of the match that had a lot more.
To be quite honest, for the promo that happened afterwards when they got the award with Dash and Dawson,
yes.
I was like, fuck it, I'll let it slide.
I mean,
mainly because Dawson basically did fuck all, because he's established that he's shit on the mic. So he just let Dash do all the talking because he's the guy that's really got it sorted on that.
And that works. That works greatly for that team.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird because you would think that Dawson is the Arn, but Dawson might be the Tully in this case.
I'm trying to think.
But then again, Anderson was always the workhorse of the Horsemen, and his promos were okay, but Tully knew how to talk them into the building. So yeah, I will go with that. We'll go with Anderson is Dawson and Dash is Tully. Or we just do Ole and Arn and just call them the Minnesota Wrecking Crew.
Dash is Ole and Arn and Tully and Flair and JJ Dillon.
Are you going to say Scott Dawson is like Paul Roma and Mongo McMichael and Lex Luger?
Dawson's Lex Luger.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. Dawson's really good. It's just he doesn't get a chance to really show it very much.
Yeah, true.
See, I like this. Building up the fact that no matter who wins tonight, they need to look over the shoulder because the top guys want the tag belts back. So that worked really well. They did announce they were Tag Team of the Year. I love the fact everybody gets a golden ring bell. That was cool. I like that. Ember Moon showed
badly spray painted though.
Oh, extremely badly spray painted.
Who the shit is on that deal?
And it's anyone's guess.
They know it's happening every year. So why do a trophy that looked like it took 4 minutes to make? Have we got any ring bells? Yeah. Have we got any gold paint gold dust doesn't use? Yeah. Use it. Of course. No, I just realized what they did tonight.
Leftover
NXT Awards were sponsored by KFC's Golden Chicken shit.
It was. But that was...
That's why it's gold.
So we're moving on.
Does that mean Dolph Ziggler's going to have to be gold?
It might help. I don't know at this point.
I don't know how that works. Also, I think Peyton Royce doesn't know whether she's American or not. Because when she was accepting her award, she was sounding like... Billie Kay was sounding Aussie, but also like a mean girl. Peyton was Aussie and... High School Musical.
And I'm okay with that.
She was being Aussie girl and then, oh my God, like American, stereotypical American high school girl.
So in essence, you were saying that she was basically playing an Australian Sharpay Evans from High School Musical.
I don't know who the fuck that is.
Ashley Tisdale. She's the mean girl of the movie. Anyway, there's a reason it's Zero in Disney. Now, even though I don't promote it as much as I used to.
Slam.
Yes. Exactly. No, yes, Band Slam, exactly. I don't want to think about that movie, but yes, you're right. So Ember Moon shows up and she wants Asuka to win because she wants to take her out. It's kind of there. We get DIY getting interviewed. Winning was a dream come true. They put over the Authors of Pain. They announced Asuka winning the female competitor of the year, beating Bayley Nia Jax for some reason. I don't know. I guess Nia Jax was in there. So yeah, that was fun. Balor, Joe, Nakamura, and Rude, and of course Nakamura wins. Here's something that's interesting, Ashley. Do you realize this day in 1991, this Tuesday in Texas happened?
Hang on. Hang on. Clarify that shit.
So this Tuesday in Texas happened.
Yeah.
All right. This was a pay-per-view that was piggybacking pretty much off the Survivor Series that year.
Yeah. Well, it's because of the cock-up.
Right, exactly. And then that led to basically Undertaker winning with the tombstone on Ric Flair's assisted steel chair. So they did a show of 5 matches for the pay-per-view crowd, none of which going more than 14 and a half minutes. And the live crowd got 8 dark matches.
Mm-hmm.
Featuring Ron and Don Harris, The Godfather, Brian Lee, Tatanka, Greg the Hammer Valentine and the Brooklyn Brawler, the Nasty Boys, the Bushwhackers, the Road Warriors, and the Beverly Brothers, and the dark match main event of Ric Flair defeating Roddy Piper.
Yeah.
So they had a good show. But that's not mentioned. It's just mentioned that it happened this day in WWE history, apparently. So,
yeah, but it wasn't this day, was it?
Well, I mean, it was. Yeah, I don't know why they said this. It was probably there you go.
It was in November.
It was
2 days after. Well, no, sorry, because back in the day, then
the end of November was Survivor Series. Yeah, it was officially December 3rd, and I think what they're saying is this is the last time WWE have done anything televised at the Freeman Coliseum. That's my guess here, because that's where it took place.
Or it was just some way to sell the network.
Pretty much.
Let's be honest. It's more like, please get the network, or our shareholders will go apeshit at us, and then we'll just have to give them an excuse of, well, TNA did it first.
Pretty much. So we move on. So as we've gotten started, we're now actually getting ready to talk about the first match.
Nakamura.
Oh, yes, this first.
Yeah. Nakamura got male star of the year and then overall.
Yeah. So we get our first match when the actual takeover show starts.
I mean, I know that Asuka and Nakamura aren't a couple, but I just find the irony that 12 months on from Balor and Bayley, we now have Asuka and Nakamura.
Oh, that's probably done on purpose, to be honest. I wouldn't be shocked if it was. So,
what does that mean for next year? Because I can't do my idea of JT Dunn and Kimberly, and I also can't do my idea of oh, I forgot it. That's good. Is that good?
I don't think it's gonna happen next year. Anyway, so we get our first match, and according to the live crowd via Twitter, we're finding out that the 10 Chants are already starting to take over everything, pun not intended. So smartly, they put him out first. It is Eric Young with Alexander Wolf and Killian Dane taking on the Perfect 10, Ty Dillinger. Crowd went crazy for
So
Dillinger.
what you're telling me is this is match number 10.
Oh, God. Crowd may agree with that. You
Let's
mentioned
be honest, after what they had to sit through, no.
Yeah. So it was interesting that Eric Young came out letting us remember Aces and Eights. With the bandana over his face, and he was there, and of course he came out. Like I said, Nikki Storm was not there because obviously she was preparing for her 4-way later on in the show. Imagine someone that just turned on the podcast right there. Anyway,
no, what I imagine is somebody turns on the podcast when I'm fucking cunt.
Oh, God. That happens from time to time, and that's how we lose viewers. The thing is, Dillinger comes out.
I just saw a spike up. Right, I should swear more. There you go.
Oh, God. Dillinger, clad in 10, like we've said numerous times, WWE doesn't bring him out.
He stole Chris's jacket.
It's different.
It lit up, and the 10 on his back. I don't know whether it was an iPad, because it sort of looked like a solid panel.
It's probably an LED panel.
Probably.
So Dillinger comes out, gets a huge reaction from the crowd. No shock there. The match basically starts with Eric Young trying to recruit Dillinger one last time. And Ty picks up the jacket and just tosses it at Eric, and then basically we have a hockey fight for a moment. They end up getting heat on Dillinger when he tosses Eric over the top to the floor. And Killian Dane gets the fall of humanity on the outside. Eric Young brings back the good old superstar elbow and hits the flying elbow drop to the back of the neck when he gets back in the ring. And he works his hanging dragon sleeper in the corner a couple of times. So at this point, Ty finally gets the upper hand. He grabs the beard. He delivers a headbutt. He basically red cards him. Flying forearm, high back body drop. Eric Young goes to the top, and he gets caught with a release belly-to-belly superplex. So they're stomping, and then he drops the knee pad, setting up for the tiebreaker. Wolf gets on the ring apron, and he gets caught with the tiebreaker. Eric Young comes in, but he basically misses one. And that's basically when he has him up in the fireman's carry, and Killian Dane looks like he's going to come in, and he drops Eric Young. He super kicks Dane to knock him out of the way. Young nails him from behind a Pearl Harbor attack, and he sets up his Youngblood finish, and Ty counters into a forward roll for a near fall. Tiebreaker does connect, and at 3, Wolf puts the foot on the bottom rope, breaking the count. Thought that was really well done. Ty with the Pescado on Sanity on the outside, and he comes off with a flying body press. Young rolls through, tries to grab the tights, and he only gets a near fall. He whips him in, and Ty takes out Sanity with a baseball slide drop kick, which basically sends Dane into Wolf, thus taking them out of the match. But when he goes to skin the cat back in the ring, he gets caught with the wheelbarrow and the Ocean Cyclone neckbreaker, and that's the Young Blood, and that's the win. So Ty Dillinger has lost all 5 takeover matches he's had.
Perfect time to see him in. Trying to work out where it'd be. 22 and a half hours?
Pretty much.
Roughly?
Yeah, Ty Dillinger showing up at number 10 in the Royal Rumble, I think pretty much writes itself. And at this point, if you don't go with Ty Dillinger, you're going to have to either A, go with a heel. Actually, no, there is no B. It's either you have to go with Ty Dillinger, or you have to send The Miz out to Daniel Bryan's music wearing about the same gear and have him doing the yes chant down the ramp, which is totally out of his character, but I think it would work in this situation. But that's going to be...
He comes out at number 9 just to confuse everybody, or number 11.
11.
And they're going, boo, and then 11, 10, and then they just lose their shit.
Yeah, either way, if Dillinger is not in the Rumble at 10, I think they're gonna kill that segment of the match for a lot of the live crowd, because a lot of the crowd, the ones that have been chanting 10, are gonna be at the Alamo Dome tomorrow. So obviously they're going to continue to do it. I've said this before, Ty Dillinger right now, and this isn't something bad coming from me, because for me this is a big compliment, but no one else is going to see it as such, and I'm going to get crap for this, but I have to say it. Okay. Ty Dillinger is basically going to be treated like Fandango. He's going to be hot going in. Yeah. He's going to have a long time running, and then Michael Cole's going to start doing the 10 thing, and it's going to kill him dead in the water. And he'll be jobbing out on SmackDown real quick. And I don't want that to happen to Ty Dillinger, but I'd be happy to see him in the main roster. But the honest thing about it is right now, with as full as WWE is, I don't want anybody brought up. They need to fix the problem.
There is one thing you could do to shut the crowd up. If
Daniel
10
Bryan
was Goldberg or Lesnar or Taker.
Number 1, Undertaker won't go that early. Number 2, I don't think Goldberg or Lesnar will go that early. And number 3, I think at this point, it's kind of like when everybody was expecting it to be Daniel Bryan in the Rumble and Rey Mysterio came out and got heat. I think anybody that comes out that's not Ty Dillinger at number 10 tomorrow at the Rumble is going to get booed. That's the way I see it happening. So they better just go with it.
Even if it's Jake the Snake.
I think anybody, no matter how over they are, there's going to be a section of the crowd that's going to boo because it's not Ty Dillinger. And then they're going to hijack the Rumble, regardless how star-studded it is, and start chanting 10 the whole match and start throwing people off their game. That crowd has a really good chance, if they don't get what they want, to not only try to take over the show, but they're also going to make it unbearable for everybody else watching.
I know how they're going to... See, depending how many suplexes Brock gives, as soon as he gets to double figures, they'll go crazy as well, won't they?
They'll chant 10 for everything it's done in repetition. I almost guarantee you at this point. When Lesnar starts suplexing people, they'll be like 10. When he suplexes again, it'll be like 10. And 10 punch, 10, 10, 10.
Every single count out.
Yep. Oh, they've already started
the John Cena versus AJ match.
And I got to hand it to the referees in WWE for being able to put up with that, because I know, like, if you're green as grass refereeing your first match and you come out and fans are chanting 10, it's going to throw you off before too long. Because you're going to start second guessing yourself. So. But yeah, I mean, this match was fine. I liked it. I thought it was well done. If Dillinger's swan song with the company, which is this is what it seems to be, and they did exactly what they needed to do. They got him over without him having to win anything. Some people do not have to win in order to be over. And it would be nice for this to be the swan song, because there's really nothing else you can do with Ty Dillinger in NXT now, unless you stick him with somebody and you put them after Sanity, but I don't know why you would do that at this point. So, I mean, unless they do that on the taping.
As harsh as this sounds, somebody irrelevant needs to win the Andre the Giant Battle Royal.
I'll tell you who's going to win the Andre Battle Royal, and I've been calling this for a while now. You know who makes perfect sense to win the Andre Battle Royal this year?
I'm trying to think. Who is irrelevant and will stay irrelevant?
I mean, some people might think he's irrelevant, but I mean, I think people were trying to make. No. Think. I believe Tom Hardy said dream a bit bigger, and you need to at this point. Somebody that's not irrelevant, but WWE would probably like you to believe he was at this point because he's had a lot of issues, and he's slowly but surely getting back into their good graces. And I think with Big Show winning before, I think we need a win like that, and I think that a Battle Royal would just be exactly what the doctor ordered, and he wouldn't have to do much at all. Welcome, Acer, to chat. Well, Ashley thinks about this. It would be epic if Ty made his surprise Rumble appearance tomorrow night in the 10th spot. That would be awesome. WWE make it happen. Dillinger at number 10. Exactly.
See, the way you've worded that, and it all depends on the medicals. Prince Devitt?
Nope. No, they're not wasting Balor on a battle royal. Trust me, he'll be involved in a match at Mania.
I'm trying to think who the fuck's injured.
Okay, he's not injured. He's just irrelevant because of his personal issues. Acer, please tell Ashley who I'm saying, because I think you're picking up what I'm putting down. Or maybe not. Who knows? Maybe I've just made this really obscure reference.
Are we ruining the fact that Sammy isn't winning the Rumble then?
We'll get to that. Don't worry. We'll get to that. No, not at all. It's not Sammy.
No, it's not Sammy winning the Battle Royal either.
That's what I'm saying. It's not Sammy. That's not who I'm referring to, obviously.
Okay.
But I still got a tiny little bit of hope.
I'm being distracted by a boxing match, which is happening live. I've only just realized it's happening during the end of this stuff.
Okay. The person that should win the Andre Battle Royal right now is Hogan. Honestly.
Oh, God.
Tell me it doesn't make sense. Because it does.
It doesn't. He's the fucker that set it up in tribute to his brother, Andre the Giant. He's that fucking egocentric that he wants to win it for himself and turn heel. And it's NWO Hogan.
No, it wouldn't be that at all. It'd just be one. I can't say necessarily a swan song, but I think WWE Medical would clear him to do a battle royal where all he literally has to do is toss people over the top rope. I mean, I think it makes perfect sense. It's a great way to put a little bit of. I mean, I know a lot of people have heat with Hogan right now because of personal issues, but I mean, and his opinions. But one of those things about it is WWE is starting to get back into good graces with him. And if that happens, I can easily see Hogan winning. And then WrestleMania 34, have somebody that, I mean, look what they've done with the Andre Battle Royal winners. They really haven't done anything with them. So Hogan winning, I think, makes perfect sense given the fact that it's Andre. If anything, have him slam a big guy in the Battle Royal and just have a good old pop from back in the day. Acer says it depends if Medical clears Balor. It would be sweet if Finn returned for the Rumble. The thing is, Finn returning for the Rumble, I think it might be a pipe dream at this point, but it's still possible.
The thing is, nobody said it's not happening.
No one said it's not happening, but
nobody said it's ruled out. We don't know.
No, we don't.
The medical thing.
No, we don't. No. Apparently, from what I've heard throughout this week, it sounds like he got cleared, but I've also heard that he may end up having to wait and not being able to work until Mania. But I don't know if that's the case or not. And
it'd be better for, I don't know.
If something happens,
show up and do something, but then actually make his pay-per-view ring return at Fastlane.
Or he could show up at Fastlane and make his return at Mania.
Then again, that's less than a few weeks.
Right. So, I mean, I guess we'll see if Balor shows up. I mean, it's 50-50 right now if he's going to show up or not. But if he's returning at Mania,
we got places spare.
Oh God, yes. If we have an option where Balor returns and can't return to Mania, then I could think of Hogan winning the Battle Royal. But if that ends up happening, that's an easy way for Balor to compete in the Andre Battle Royal and win it as well. So, but I think Hogan. If it's not this year, I think he will win.
To some extent, with Baron winning it and actually now sort of getting in the main event scene, it sort of means a little bit more this year.
I still think if they will go with Hogan winning it. If it's not this year, it will happen. But I guess we'll see what happens with Balor. Like I said, this match was good. I enjoyed it. And if this is Dillinger's swan song, then he went out exactly like you're supposed to do in a territory you got on your back. Samoa Joe is shown in the crowd.
Rumble.
Oh God, for sure, Samoa Joe's going to be in the Rumble, and that if we get that UPW grudge match of Joe and John Cena at the Rumble, at WrestleMania, I'm going to be super happy because that match was not as good as it could have been, unlike the Joe Rob Van Dam match they had in UPW as well. But I'm sure they want another go at it. They're great friends, and I think they could put together a phenomenal match for Orlando. Joe's a dark horse for winning the Rumble, too, if he shows up, and he will. But, I don't think they'll necessarily go that route. We get our next match, Andrade Cien Almas versus Roderick Strong. Really good stuff here. No shock, no surprise here. Good things in this match. Almost gets a cross arm breaker in the ropes, works the Fujiwara, and a hammerlock slam. He's working on Roddy's arm here. He does his double moonsault, but he misses. Roddy hits the Olympic slam, and a nice cord buster and a running knee strike. Backdrop. Almost floats over and escapes. Roddy with a drop kick. Backdrop backbreaker for a near fall. Sets up the Tiger Suplex 85 into a backbreaker, but it gets countered. Straight jacket German from Almas for a 2 count. And roll up side release powerbomb for a near fall. So they trade blows, and then all of a sudden Almas gets the heat on Roddy with the double knees, but he gets caught with a jumping knee strike. They trade forearms, and Almas no sells the Yakuza kick. He catches him, but he escapes out of it, ducks the clothesline, forward roll, and locks on a modified Nagato lock, but Roddy gets the ropes. Almost gets crotched on the top, and he gets the backbreaker across the top buckle for a near fall. Death by Roderick is countered, and he's setting up for the La Sombra hammerlock DDT, but Roddy escapes. He gets hip toss into the corner, double knees miss. Almost turns him inside out with a lariat, spins him like a top, and goes for the shotgun knees. He hits it, sets up for the hammerlock DDT. Roddy escapes, jumping knee strike, backdrop facebuster, sick kick, 1, 2, 3. Good stuff. Really good stuff. I was not surprised this match was as good as it was.
Yeah, I was expecting this to be a match that delivered, and it certainly did. I'm pleased to see both had good showings. I still think the way that Andre's being treated because of, partially being homesick and realizing that it's not how he probably imagined it to go.
Right.
I'd say overall, with the circumstances, it was probably the strongest match of the night.
Oh, yeah, easily. I'd say, overall, it's the match I enjoyed the most of anything tonight. It got almost 12 minutes to tell a story, and it did quite well with that.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed this stuff. Michael Hayes is shown in the audience because we're in Texas, obviously. They show Shawn Michaels winning the 1995 Royal Rumble. And then we leave.
Why did they show that?
They just did.
Am I supposed to remember something?
I don't know. The fact that it started out with the first two people and then it went for they basically were the Iron Men for the whole match.
Am I supposed? Is there something? Is there something happening in the WWE?
I mean, if
they did, nobody gave me the memo.
I don't know. I mean, I think it basically tells me that we got a really good shot of 1 and 2 at the Rumble going all the way to the end and potentially being the last two people left.
Oh, am I supposed to remember it's the Screen Actors Guild?
No, I don't think so.
Don't know what they were trying to get me to watch then. I don't get it.
Probably because
tomorrow?
The Royal Rumble and the Screen Actors Guild.
Oh shit, it's the Rumble. I never would have known. Fucking hell. I'm starting to get sick of that advert. The fact that every time on the call I hear Owen singing, I'm not your man.
I do not. You are lying to the viewers and listeners right now. I do not.
You did it plenty. Well, not plenty of times. A fair few.
And another shout out to Acer for promoting the show as well right now. Whit Williams, another member of the Elite, the Popcast Network, he said, for the first time ever, I watched Takeover. What would you think of the show?
I don't want to say to him that it's a shame he watched this one.
There could have been better ones to watch. Yeah,
there's been better takeovers. It's not a bad one, as we keep indicating. But that's what happens when you're in. Vince stole all the fucking talent. What do? Let's do this.
Oh, you mean the 45-minute conversation we started this podcast with?
Yeah.
Whit says he thought it was good.
Are still available.
Tickets are still available. Last match was fantastic. Surprised the ending was so glorious. Women's match had some good stuff. But continue to leave your commentary in chat.
We'll get to the main event later on because that I think is the most interesting talking point.
We'll get to that. Don't worry.
Which I think could make somebody very happy and somebody very unhappy. I don't mean Owen. I mean backstage shit.
Right.
But first
we have to get into this.
Speaking of happy, Paul Ellering coming out with Pharrell Williams.
If only.
It was Pharrell Williams and D'Lo Brown. The fat versions of Pharrell Williams and D'Lo Brown.
Nice. Well, the D'Lo Brown thing I called, but I didn't know the Pharrell thing.
I don't know. I just had to do something that linked it up with happy.
I got you. Pharrell.
That's the best I could do. I didn't think I could get away with Paul Ellering being Steve Carell.
I didn't think this match made me happy, and it totally didn't. We'll get to that. Whit says, was this the first time?
So what you do, Tucker and Raza, is you go to the ring, you do the thing, and then you get the ding-ding. You're right?
Oh, God. Whit, that makes about as much sense as this finish did. Whit Williams says, and what was that the first time a guy had come back down to NXT? There's been a lot of special appearances from former NXT talents. Like when NXT television was not on the network, like before then, like when they were actually showing it on like Fox Sports Net, and this happened a lot. And even when they got on the network, it happened quite a bit. So yeah, there's been a lot of appearances. Like the Wyatts came back. Yeah, the Wyatts, the big one.
Ray had its homecoming, if you will.
Basically the christening of the Wyatt family as the most dominant tag team in NXT history. And Acer says, watch Takeover, basically telling Wit to watch Takeover shows, delivering quality. You know that all or most of the NXT Takeover shows are quality. They're lit, like that terminology, Acer, but to each their own. They're great and glorious.
Well, let's acknowledge that fact. It's not Ring of Honor. It's actually lit.
Oh, not this building wasn't tonight. Seth is going to be on one of those beyond.
It was for the main event because they suddenly realized, oh, we've got lights.
Right. Wit says, exactly. I like the implication Seth is going to be on one of those Beyond One brand storylines. The reason why they had Rollins show up at NXT tonight, which we're getting ahead of ourselves, but basically they did that so he could get to Triple H, and we'll get to that in a moment. There was a lot of people thinking that might happen, and it certainly did. So we'll see what happens at the Rumble tomorrow. We get this tag match. Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano defending the NXT Tag Team titles against Toka and Razor, the not pretty boy killers. Like I've said numerous times on this show, I do not buy Akam and Razor as a team, and I never probably will. Because, like I said, as long as Shane Taylor and Keith Lee exist in this world, I cannot buy the Authors of Pain. Wit says, I could barely see the spot where the two Australians knocked out what's-her-name on the announce table. We'll get to that later, Wit. As you so eloquently put that.
Wit keeps jumping ahead.
Wit, we're on the tag.
We need to talk about how everybody got screwed out of the best glorious bomb that could ever happen.
God, yes.
Because somebody decided, yeah, let's have the fat fucks get the gold.
Yeah, it's okay, Whit. We understand you're new to NXT. We all were at one point, so yeah. Welcome to watching NXT. So NXT is a gateway drug that takes you to Ring of Honor, and Ring of Honor will take you to stuff like PWG, and then you can watch New Japan, and then life is good. Always remember that TNA shows are better live. So
you know what I have to say to that comment, Owen?
Go ahead.
Unbelievable.
So something that wasn't unbelievable: Authors of Pain versus DIY.
No, it was unbelievable. As in, why are we putting these guys over?
Yeah, I was hoping.
Also, it's worth noting, because I forgot to talk about it, actual notes from Mr. Jacob Cohen, who's in attendance, because we like that guy. He's a pretty sick guy, if you will.
Yes.
He was saying people were using the Almas Strong match as a piss break.
That sucks.
As much as I don't like to say it about DIY, this should have been the piss break match.
Yeah.
This went 40. If you wanted to be quite honest, if you wanted to make Authors of Pain in their win, they really needed to have a Goldberg style win.
Right.
They needed to win it in 5 minutes.
Not 16.
You know, in sort of like somewhat of a squash match.
Right. And that didn't happen.
No.
Not even close, actually. So,
as I say, second longest match at 15 minutes.
Just way too long. So heat on Gargano for a while. Razor got the Canadian backbreaker. Gargano escapes. Pun not intended.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. Akam ends up going for a clothesline. Gargano ducks, and he basically hits the ring post, which he kind of no-sells. Gargano tries to get in and make the tag. Akam cuts him off. And finally, Ciampa gets in and hits a flying clothesline and a knee strike for Akam, an elbow strike for Razor. German suplexes on both Authors of Pain. I swear to you, both of them sandbagged him. That's totally what it looked like to me.
The amount of fucking no-selling
Oh my God.
Vince is going, yeah! I was like, bloody hell.
Basically, what they were trying to do is they were trying to be the Gorillas of Destiny tonight, and that doesn't work for this team.
Yeah.
At all. I mean, if they want to turn Toka and Razor into the Gorillas of Destiny, I guess I'm okay with that, but they don't fit. They don't fit. I'm not talking about size or anything. I mean, like, their styles don't fit. The only thing that would make them even somewhat similar is the fact that they're both ruthless. I don't think Akam is going to start
wearing their outfits either. Because I think I saw a giant crack midway through the match.
I didn't see that, thankfully. Anyway, back to the match. Ciampa with a sliding
When one of them got thrown out to the ringside, there was... I don't think we saw crack, but we certainly saw where their Roman Reigns style top wasn't covering like the small of their back.
So,
properly.
Acer's talking about TNA to win in chat. He mentioned the Authors of Pain are badasses. They certainly improved in my view. Acer, I still say that if you have Keith Lee and Shane Taylor, the Pretty Boy Killers, in your world, and you know who they are, I think the Authors of Pain are a poor substitute.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure they're a lot safer in the ring than the Authors of Pain, too. Anyway, so a sliding knee strike for a near fall. And basically, Akam just no-sells over and over again. He kicks him in the face, and he kicks him in the face again. So he just literally slaps him in the face numerous times. Ciampa gets nailed with a lariat, and then Razor gets knocked to the outside. Gargano gets a hot tag. They hit the tandem slingshot spear from the apron. That looked really well. As always, they set up the running knee high kick combo, and Gargano gets knocked off the ring apron. Ciampa gets taken down. They hit the Viano killer, and Ciampa kicks out right at 3. They go for the last chapter. Gargano with a super kick. Ciampa with a roll up, and he locks right into the Project Ciampa. Razor slides in. He gets locked in the Gargano escape. And they're going back to what happened with the revival in Toronto. And Razor powers out. And he over-shoulder running power slams Gargano onto Ciampa, thus breaking up the submission hold. Crowd goes crazy for it. So they trade blows on their knees. They trade blows in the middle of the ring. And then the next thing you know, DIY duck double clotheslines, running knee strikes. They set up the finish stuck in the middle, I believe is what it's called. Meet in the middle, long day. And they get caught.
In the middle with meat stew.
Pretty much. Meet in the middle, and they get caught with the Super Collider. And then Razor tagged in. They hit the last chapter, and they win clean.
It shouldn't be called the Large Hadron. It shouldn't be called the Large. They should call it like not the Large Hadron Collider, but the Large or something.
Anyway,
Badmon. Do it in Scottish. Badmon.
They needed, like you said, Ashley, they needed to have a dominant performance here, and if you want to go in that way of thinking, they gave DIY too much.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't one-sided like it could have been. I mean, I don't want to say outright squash Gargano and Ciampa because that's not the right answer, but a more dominant, not just have like the last 5 minutes of the match be dominant. And even
also,
setting up a false finish.
If there's a heel manager, why didn't he get involved?
He doesn't. Paul Ellering usually doesn't get involved. He's the mouthpiece because Toka and Razor can't talk.
Yeah, but good managers get involved in the key bits.
Yes. That's how I got Russian leg sweeped off the ladder, because I stuck my nose in the wrong match. I wish I had video footage of that for you guys, but I'd totally put it up here on the network. Yeah, and the thing is with Authors of Pain, obviously you've got the rematch with DIY, which I think will probably come at the UCF tapings in February. And then you've got the Revival, which they could always do something with them. The team that makes sense, you want to talk a Vince McMahon dream match right now, the team that's probably going to end up working with them would probably be Otis Dozovic and Tucker Knight, Heavy Machinery. Another thing that we're talking about here too was the fact that they could be working with Killian Dane and Alexander Wolf, thus quite literally turning Sanity into Decay. Literally Decay in pretty much every way possible.
Yeah.
Even down to Rosemary, contending for the Women's Championship.
Well, hang on. Who's the fourth guy?
Somebody from Decay that hasn't debuted yet. But whose side is he on? But still, basically, you see where I'm coming from here. I mean, there's not many options. They don't really have much of a tag division. TM61 are out now because of Thorne's injury. The Revival are probably going to be going up to the main roster very soon. If it doesn't happen this week, it'll happen after Mania. So, I mean, it's either going to be Rumble or Mania. It's one of the two. So, they could get one more takeover out of them in Orlando and then do like Revival and DIY one last match at TakeOver in Orlando and then bring the Revival to the main roster on the SmackDown after WrestleMania. But I don't know what route they're going to go at this point because their tag division is very lackluster because they're not doing anything with them. We're building new teams. I mean, there's like the team with what's his name? Remember his name off the top of my head. If you look at like the Dusty Tag Tournament, you'll see a lot of teams that would have potentially been involved in the tag division if you decide to roll with them. Like, I'm trying to think. Like, you know what I'm referring to. I'm referring to the tag team that's always on the house show circuit, but they rarely ever get to do anything on television, but they did the Dusty Classic.
Let's be honest. We know we know the Authors of Pain shouldn't have won the tournament.
Oh, God, no. Not even close.
It should have been Aries and Roderick Strong.
Yeah, totally. Generation Next should have won the tournament. But they didn't go that route. Sabatelli and Moss, yeah. Tino Sabatelli and Riddick Moss are another tag team you've probably used. But here's the problem. We don't have any babyface teams that can compete for the titles except DIY. Because every tag team they've built up or tried to build up are all heel teams. You've got DIY, you have Heavy Machinery, which have only been on television for that one match in the Dusty Classic this year, and that's it. The rest of the teams on NXT are heels. Unless you get Nick Miller another tag partner for the time being. Which they could. But I guess we'll see. I mean, this match wasn't terrible. I mean, it was kind of there. I know why they did, but I don't think it was the right answer. I guess I understand why, but we'll see what happens. They'll have the rematch most likely, like I said, at UCF. So, I mean, I'd like to be there, but I miss it by like a week. So, and I believe it's not sold out yet, as we talked about. So, we'll see what happens with that. We've also got an NXT taping coming up soon too.
It wouldn't be this week, would it?
It is February 1st, next Wednesday night. This Wednesday night. So the one that's in 4 days, yes.
It makes sense because then they got to take a week to edit.
Right. And the stuff that they filmed, the 4 matches we talked about at the beginning of the show are going to be talked about. They're going to be shown in their entirety this week on NXT, this Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. So we move on to our next bit here. And that is the fact that, oh my God, CM Punk is at the ring.
What?
I swear to you, when I first saw Rollins, and I saw how he was dressed and everything for a split second, I was like, wow, it looks like Straight Edge Society CM Punk.
He's got a mask on.
Yeah. No, before that happened. Before he had to put the mask on. And he had the long hair and I don't care look about him. Like, basically Punk in the Nexus is pretty much the best way to describe it. So he basically hijacks the show and says, you know what? I want Triple H. I'm not leaving until I get him, and you're going to have to physically remove me from there and if you want the show to continue if he doesn't come out.
Mm-hmm.
Crowd's going crazy for this because obviously the NXT crowd, they know better. And they know that what Triple H means. Because obviously there's Triple H, the game, then there's Paul Levesque, which is NXT Savior. And they're not the same person whatsoever. So,
except they sort of are tonight.
Well, kind of, and I'll get to that in a minute, because Triple H comes out at the top of the ramp. Welcome, Jeremy. And the next thing you know, he looks like he's going to come out and answer Rollins' challenge. And then Triple H, right before our very eyes, turns into Paul Levesque because he calls for security. Crowd didn't like this. Rollins beat up some security guys. Not as cool as when Asuka and Nikki Storm did it on NXT this past week, but still entertaining. Pretty sure one guy got his mouth busted open. Can't confirm that, but it was great because when they were trying his mouth or nose, one of the two, because when they were trying to restrain Rollins to get him away from the arena and like get him to the back, they were still selling the mouth and the nose, so I thought that was entertaining. Crowd chanted BS, and that was the end of that. So yeah, anything's possible. You never know who may show up at the Rumble to try to wreck stuff. Dun, dun, dun.
And if they do, they're going to blow your mind.
Oh, God. Speaking of things that didn't blow my mind, NXT Women's Championship on the line. Asuka defending against Billie Kay, Nikki Cross, and Peyton Royce. I'm gonna be a man for a second here. I think Peyton Royce is absolutely beautiful. And I love her gear because it kind of reminds me of like what they used to wear back in like Glow back in the day. Her and Billie Kay both remind me of something that would have been in Glow.
I like the fact that Nikki came out with no makeup on.
Nikki Cross comes out with no makeup. She's got the bandana and everything.
Natural. It's just like, I don't care. I'm going to rip your fucking throat out.
And of course, Asuka comes out with her mask and everything, and it's just like she's wearing the same gear she normally does. The only thing that really made this feel like a takeover was the fact that the rock star lighting they had at the top of the ramp at the beginning of the show, where they let all the lights be seen by everybody. This match was okay at one point. So basically, Peyton and Billie decided to team up on everybody here. And I think the point here was making sure that Nikki and Asuka really were kept apart as much as humanly possible to whet the appetite of everyone for their singles match. And I think that makes sense. Because every time that they would go to square off, there would be Billie Kay and Peyton Royce to basically stop this from happening. There's some good stuff here. Billie goes for a German on Asuka. Asuka with a standing switch. And basically she German suplexes both the Mean Girls at the same time. Asuka with a snap German suplex. Near fall there on Nikki Cross. And the Mean Girls get on the ring apron. And Asuka nails them with a hip attack and knocks them both off. Nikki ducks a spinning heel kick, a straight jacket neck breaker, and a falling inverted DDT for an air fall. Nikki slides outside and basically puts Asuka, like, hangs her across the ring apron and basically hits a snake bite neck breaker. So if you've been hearing me call Randy Orton matches, calling that the draping DDT, the snake bite DDT, basically it's a draping spinning neck breaker, and it looked great, by the way. So basically, Billie and Peyton try to get up again, and Nikki takes him down with a flying body press to the outside. Billy and Peyton finally get Nikki, and they knock her into the guardrail a couple times. They fight up to the aisle right by the commentary desk, which is towards the top of the ramp. And they set up a dive with Nikki's going to dive on both Peyton and Billy on the outside, like from the table to the floor. But Ashley noticed there was a table that was kind of adjacent the announce table, and it was kind of like, what's about to happen? I'm sure there's a table bump coming. And sure enough, she gets her legs swept out, and she lands on the table. So Peyton and Billy pick up Nikki Storm, and they basically do a tandem suplex, which is pretty much a release into Nikki doing the greatest stuntman-esque freefall that I've seen on WWE style programming.
Yeah, if you go back and look at it, Nikki stayed in the air just still for about 1/10 of a second.
She totally did.
And then just fell.
So Witt's commentary on this, he says they were sexualized and fearsome. Normally you have to choose with the women. He hopes for Rollins to get fired by Triple H. I think that may end up happening eventually. So yeah, that's very interesting. You bring that up, Witt. Sorry, I was trying to. There's so many things going on right now. There's Takeover, and the PGAs are going on right now too. So I'm trying to keep track. Like tomorrow, I'm trying to keep track of awards coverage as well as wrestling coverage at the same time. I think I'm doing quite well. So they take Nikki Cross out, and she's completely out of the equation. So they double team Asuka, and they're setting up a couple of things here, which I have to get my notes here for the end of this match here. So Billy picks up Asuka in a Tiger Suplex and holds her in like a wheelbarrow Ocean Cyclone position. Peyton hits a knee strike, tries to get the win. Asuka kicks out. They set up the face buster on the knee, and Asuka with a round kick takes her out. And Peyton ends up hitting Widow's Peak and gets 2.5 on that one. Peyton ends up slapping her around for a bit, and of course you don't do that to Asuka, and Asuka basically just roundhouse kicks her head off. And at this point, Billy gets kicked as well. Asuka hits a buzzsaw kick on Peyton Royce and wins it clean in under 10 minutes. I believe, Ashley, you mentioned something about, I didn't see this because I was trying to write some more notes for this match, but I believe what was seen after this was Nikki was seen laying on the table smiling.
She was smiling at her.
Okay, good.
She was smiling.
I was right. I knew that was who that was. We'll get to that in a minute. This was fine for what it was. I thought that this was a way to get the strap off Asuka here without her having to lose, which Asuka is still undefeated and remains undefeated, along with the Authors of Pain, who remain undefeated, and Bobby Roode remains undefeated. So, yeah, we have all your champions are undefeated right now. Spoiler alert.
Who's under the feet? What?
Oh, good God. Speaking of things that we saw, we see Tyler Bate in the crowd, waving, dressed like Bob Backlund for some reason. Don't know why.
Dressed like he is in the promo when he says, "Fuck off! I want to go for a piss." That's what I imagine he was saying afterwards.
Here's another thing, Ashley, that I spotted. I didn't respond to, but I'm reading other things that can confirm this. Did you see who was behind Tyler Bate in the crowd?
I'm trying to remember, rack my mind.
Well, that would be another Evolved competitor.
ACH?
No.
Oh, it wasn't Cassius, was it?
No. They would have mentioned that. No, for some reason.
Oh, no. Don't tell me it was the man of the hour, Timothy Thatcher.
No, but you're getting closer.
Stokely Hathaway?
Someone that works with Thatcher. has worked against Thatcher.
Fucking Matanza?
No. I don't know if he's a current champion. I don't know if he's a current champion in Evolve right now or not. I don't think so.
Timothy Thatcher's the current champion.
Okay, then he's not a current champion.
Unless it was Tracy Williams or Freddie Ehi.
No. The only thing he's got this year is the style battle shows for Evolve. He's the current. I don't know if he's the current, but he's been a former Progress Wrestling Atlas champion. He's worked for Beyond Wrestling. He's somebody WWE won't sign because of his extracurricular activities, if you will.
Oh shit!
Mugging for the camera was Matthew Riddle in the background.
Edward Nigma.
Yes.
The fucking Riddler.
Yep. Matt Riddle was in the crowd behind Tyler Bate, basically trying to stay incognito, but not at the same time.
Good.
Which says Rumble ends with Dario leading Matanza out to the ring at number 30. He snaps Roman's neck. Crowd pops louder than anything.
Yeah.
That's entertaining. I'm not gonna lie about that. By God, it's Matt Riddle. He does a podcast for Fightful with Sean Rossap. Oh, good stuff here. We get our main event.
I bet John Thorne went, "What's that fucker doing on my screen?"
No lie. So we get our main event. It is the NXT Championship on the line. Shinsuke Nakamura defending against Bobby Roode. So Roode comes out.
I thought, to be honest with the entrance, I thought it was Ric Flair.
I'll get to that. I'll tell you right now, Bobby Roode did Ric Flair better than AJ Styles did Ric Flair back in TNA.
To some extent, he did Flair better than Flair did Flair. That's the thing.
Totally. Roode came out with, I said this on Twitter, I'm not going to let this go. 8 women in sparkly purple dresses. I'm going to call them the Glorious Bombshells. I think it makes sense. God only knows what Roode's entrance is going to be like in Orlando. Because that's the one that really matters.
The thing about what you just said is that it makes so much sense that it makes too much sense.
That's the only problem. A lot of things I say and we say on here make too much sense. That's the reason why they don't go for them.
Prove us wrong, NXT head writer. Prove us wrong.
We know you guys are listening. It's pretty clear every single week. So let's see what happens. So yeah, Roode comes out with the Glorious Bombshells. Apparently Nakamura's on a boat. He thinks he's in the Lonely Island.
He's on a boat, motherfucker.
His girls are wearing a slightly different shade from him. Yeah, it's interesting what you bring that up. Yeah, the purple was not the same tint as Roode's gear. So
they were wearing a different color. They were wearing a different color for Prince.
Yes, exactly. So Nakamura comes out, and immediately I imagine what I really want his Orlando entrance to be. And watching his entrance with the violins and everything, and the fact that he goes crazy. Given the fact we're in Orlando, I don't know why they haven't thought of this, and I hope that they go with this, because it's going to sound awesome in my head, and it's going to be great when I finally say this out for people to hear it. What I want to see is I want the Blue Man Group to play him to the ring. Because if you see the Blue Man show at Universal Orlando or anywhere you're able to see the Blue Man Group perform worldwide, that beginning with the way that the synth works and how it builds to a crescendo, and even with the violins, feels very Blue Man Group. And the fact that we're in Orlando, literally down the road, Amway is not far from Universal Orlando Resort. Why not have the Blue Man Group show up at WrestleMania? weekend and do that.
I thought you were going to do it differently. I thought you were going to go Orlando.
Seriously, why did no one do that? And you know what? We'll try to start that chant. I don't know how well I'm going to get with being in a suite, like on the middle deck of the entire building, but I'll see what we can do to try to get that chant started for the crowd. And if it happens, you can be assured I started it.
Let's be honest. Considering what happened in this match, we might not be seeing Nakamura until 2018.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Don't worry. So, like I said, this match, longest match of the night, they gave it almost 28 minutes. So some good stuff here. Some chain to start it off. A little bit of like one-upsmanship between the two. Basically slowing it down, making us realize that we're going to go into an overrun, and of course we did. So when we finally picked up the action, Bobby Roode ends up getting caught with a leaping knee strike, and Nakamura sets up for the good vibrations. I love the title there. And he gets caught. And of course, when you catch someone's foot, work anybody that's ever worked Rob Van Dam, you know what happens. Get a wheel kick for your troubles. So Roode channels his inner Jimmy King later on in the match with a crown off the middle turnbuckle for a near fall. Neck twist. Nakamura fights out of it. And leaping knee drop to the chest and then to the back of the head. Roode goes for what Corey refers to as good, glorious vibrations to mock Nakamura. And gets caught with a back kick, running knee across the ring apron. He basically lays him out Kawada style and running knee strike. Good stuff there. Leaping knee to the back of the neck off the ring apron, pretty much trying to decapitate Bobby Roode. Of course, that doesn't happen. Leaping forearm, round kick. Enziguri is caught. Roode gets caught with good vibrations. Finally, Fireman's Carry puts him on the buckle to set up for the running knee strike, and he misses. Roode with the neck snap across the top rope, goes to the middle turnbuckle, goes for the crown. It misses, and Nakamura goes for the inverted exploder, but it escaped out. He misses the charge, puts on the buckle, running knee strike, sets up the inverted exploder, and literally drops Roode right on top of his head. That was nasty.
Yeah.
Roode sells death. Rightfully so. But he gets Nakamura into a false sense of security, rolls him up with the tights for a near fall, and channels his Beer Money tag team partner, urged on by the chants from the crowd in San Antonio, with a lung blower after ducking the round kick. So he sets up for the implant DDT. Nakamura escapes out of it and gets caught with a double R spine buster. Puts him on the buckle, a chop, goes for a superplex. Nakamura blocks it, hits him with a gourd buster off the top, basically with a one-footed drop kick. And he charges in. Roode puts both boots up in the face. He double legs him, puts his feet on the ropes. 1, 2, and at 3, the referee stops the count. I think it's John Cone is the referee here. I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure it was. So Roode starts chopping away. Nakamura is like, you know what? Come on. And then Nakamura proceeds to snap on him with knee strikes and kicks. And then he ground and pounds him and delivers trapped knee strikes. Roode goes to the outside to try to escape. And he ends up getting caught with stomps to the back of the head. It looks like the referee might end up having to stop it. Nakamura rolls him into a cross arm breaker, and he blocks it, locks on a triangle, and Roode counters with a... Here's an interesting spot here. It's countered into a power bomb with Nakamura rolling him into a sunset flip, but it looked bad. Really bad. Roode gets his shoulder up after Kinshasa. He goes to the middle rope, goes for it again. Roode goes to the apron, and he gets caught with a knee strike. Nakamura is holding the leg because what happens is when he does the knee strike, he does it off the ring apron, and it looks like he tweaked his knee off the ring apron. Whether this is true or not, we'll get to that in a minute. And good stuff here. So he works the leg, and at this point, he's getting ready to finish Rude off. He hits the Kinshasa, but of course he can't capitalize here. Here comes a medic from the back and basically trying to check on Nakamura, see if he's okay. And Rude's backed up in the corner. He's not doing anything. Nakamura's like, let me keep fighting. And then Rude hits the implant DDT, and of course, Nakamura kicks out. Bobby Roode is shocked what he's got to do to put him down. He grabs him, walks on a half Boston Crab. Nakamura finds a way to try to make the ropes, and he's about ready to give it up. He's about ready to finally be finished off. And here comes Matt Bloom, which is very interesting because Matt Bloom doesn't normally show up on television anymore. Like, at all. And the next thing you know, the hold is broken, and it's turned into a back heel kick. Nakamura with a triangle again. It gets escaped. Rude hits the boot to the knee, hits the implant DDT for the last time, and wins the title. Good match. Interesting finish here. Couple ways to look at this. Number one, if this is a work, they did a good job here because Nakamura sold the knee like death the whole time. And when he hit the Kinshasa the last time, he sold it like he couldn't go any further. But he still realized he had to finish the match, so he did. And if it's a work, then Rude booting the knee obviously most likely wouldn't have happened in a shoot because you don't boot the knee that is actually injured when something's actually happens and a real life injury happens. And my guess is if it's a work, it was also bringing Matt Bloom out there because real fans know exactly what I just said. He doesn't show up on television anymore. Usually Regal does everything, or I've seen Robbie Brookside doing it too lately. It's been really weird saying that, but it's happened. And I don't see Matt Bloom very often anymore. But obviously, like you mentioned, Ashley, with his time as Giant Bernard, he definitely knows the Japanese language. And either A, he was the one to tell Nakamura to go home when he wanted to continue to fight, thus making it being a shoot, keeping from further injury. Or B, he was out there to add to the realism of everything, and this is Nakamura's injury angle to take him off television for a while to lead up to the next storyline. I mean, there's a lot of ways to look at this, to be honest. Like, if this is a shoot and Nakamura got hurt, he's a consummate professional to continue the match, knowing that, okay, again, this is all goes back to SummerSlam. It goes back to Owen Hart and Stone Cold Steve Austin for the Intercontinental Championship. Even after the sit-out tombstone, Austin still got basically rolled on top of Owen because Owen was going to lose that night. And my guess is, regardless if Nakamura was really hurt or not, he still had to finish the match and still had to finish it the right way. So when Rude was fighting him and Nakamura fought out of the half crab, which could have been the finish, Bloom showing up and telling him basically in Japanese to take it home and because you need to get checked on, and then we go to the finish right away, makes perfect sense as well. So it just kind of depends if you want to believe it was a work or if it was a shoot. Your thoughts, Ashley?
I mean, when it happened at first, the injury, I was like, this could be Nakamura selling.
Correct.
Or it could be real.
Also correct.
And then more and more, it was sort of looking like this must be a selling bit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because the way that the trainer was going over to him and talking to him as if to go, the spot, what the spot is happening.
And that could be why Bloom got brought out, because the trainer couldn't understand him very well, so they got Bloom to translate.
It was when I then started doubting it when the knee pad got taken off.
Yeah, when the knee pad got taken off, that was a big indicator.
From the angle that it was, the knee didn't look right.
No, not at all.
You know, whether the patella just seemed a little out of too much of a line, sort of where his knee joint would be. Especially with it being bent, because I'm obviously sat down now and I'm looking at it, and certainly what I've got on my leg isn't nearly as pronounced as it was on Nakamura. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, this might be something. And then when Matt came out, I was going, this is some sort of signal to just say, possibly changing the match finish. I don't know.
Yeah, because I'm telling you, like I said, when it comes down to it, with Rude going over quickly after the escape from the half crab, it makes me think that either A, the half crab could have been the finish, Nakamura fought out of it anyway, or B, he was supposed to win and he couldn't because his knee was done. Either one are a distinct possibility here. Because, I mean, if this is a storyline, then obviously this is taking him out off television for a while, maybe to be able to finally get the time off that he richly needs right now, kind of like what they've been doing with Joe until they've been having Joe work the house shows. But I mean, still, they usually have been keeping Joe off and keeping Nakamura both off as well. So if this is to give him time off and it's a storyline, I'm okay with that. But if this is a shoot, and it very well could be, then everybody that was hoping for Nakamura to show up at the Rumble or Nakamura to show up and do anything leading to Mania weekend, I think they may have to rethink things, because if he's really hurt, like he's been working hurt for a while, actually, as you know.
Yeah.
And if he's working hurt and he further injured himself and he screwed himself up that bad, not only did he completely take himself out of the equation for this weekend, but I think he may have potentially taken him out for a lot longer than people were anticipating. Like, if Nakamura is out for a while, like, we don't know anything right now, but I mean, obviously, because the show just ended. But hopefully we'll find out more as the weekend progresses, and maybe we can talk about this on Monday or Wednesday. But if this is something that's taken Nakamura out of action for quite a considerable amount of time and maybe potentially costing him Mania, there's a lot of things that may need to be rewritten here.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we don't wish any ill will on anyone, even if we don't like their character. Obviously, we don't wish any ill will here, but Nakamura's been working hurt for a while, and maybe it finally caught up to him. He did one move too much, and he messed himself up something that he couldn't avoid taking time off for. I mean, Whit says if Nakamura was a work, then it's to make a surprise for the nerds like us tomorrow, even though we're already expecting it. I've never expected Nakamura in the Rumble. I don't know why people were thinking that was going to happen. NXT is in such disarray right now, they can't afford to lose anybody else, especially not in their main event picture. If Nakamura knocked himself out of the main event picture because of an actual injury, this is not a good thing at all. So basically what we're going to have to do now, Ashley, is on these tapings that are coming up Wednesday night, you have Rude come out for a glorious celebration, and he's interrupted by Sanity, and that starts the build to Orlando.
Oh, I mean, I don't want... It's sort of mixed blessing, because I'm pleased totally. Rude went over. Absolutely. It's just the manner. That's the thing. But it does leave the option open as to what the hell we're going to be doing in the next few months.
Yeah, because we have TV on Wednesday night, and then we have that UCF show at the beginning of February, right afterwards. So you've got 2 nights of TV. Then you have the Miami show.
Guessing there'll be another taping at Full Sail. Amway. Sorry, not Amway.
Right now, there's nothing listed for anything for Full Sail past Wednesday, but I have a feeling they'll update the ticket website soon.
Well, no, if you think about it, there's got to be, hasn't there?
Well, the UCF taping is probably a TV taping.
Yes, but that is going to only cover so many weeks, isn't it?
Right.
Because if they do, I don't know, let's say 2-3 weeks of taping.
Yeah, my taping I think was about 3 weeks when I went last time.
So that'll be what, first? So that'll be for the 8th, the 15th, and the 22nd of February.
That takes us to March.
There's still 5 weeks.
Right. So there's going to have.
I guess they could do 4 weeks.
Right.
Or 4 and a bit weeks, because then the 5th week could just be some matches and then build up to Takeover Orlando.
And then you have the UCF taping, which would be there. And if they want to, they can bring a camera for the Miami shows, and they can do the same thing they did on the other countries when they did like the Australia show and the Japan show. They could totally do that, and that would get us to Takeover. I mean, there's a lot of questions right now. If Nakamura is legitimately hurt, then WWE has to scramble to create something for NXT. Hunter is going to have to figure something out here. Like I said, I think Bobby Roode coming out and then getting, next thing you know, here comes Sanity to interrupt him. And Bobby Roode is basically asking Eric Young, what are you doing here? And he's like, I have some unfinished business with you. You've got something I want, and now I'm here to take it. And we get the Team Canada battle in Orlando for the NXT title, which is easily a possibility right now. Because there's almost no one else built up enough. And the only other person you could possibly do is Roddy. And you're going to have to use these tapings to really get Roddy, like, get him really over, even more so than he is now, to build him up to be a main event contender. Because if you don't, then it's not going to be time. Roddy would have to be for SummerSlam, that takeover, which would also make sense. But I guess we'll see. I mean, there's a lot of questions right now that we're asking ourselves after this takeover show. And hopefully we'll have some information tonight during the Rumble. But if we don't, then hopefully we'll have some information on Monday or Wednesday. So.
Hopefully.
Yeah, by and large, I mean, the show was good for what it was. It was a solid, serviceable show. Nothing outrageously great, but nothing bad either. Like, there's nothing really lackluster on the show. I'm curious to see where we go from here, and I guess Wednesday we'll get another idea of where we're headed next. To see Roode as the turned babyface, getting together with DIY to really do the Glorious Bomb against Sanity is a match I want to see. And make Roode the babyface here because the crowd wants to turn him anyway. There's no reason for Roode to be a heel. Even though Roode did boot him in the knee before he finished him off. But still, I mean, he was just trying to win the match. It wasn't personal. The match with Nakamura was never really personal. It was just, I want the title. I'll do what I have to do to win the title. And maybe that's what he had to do to win the title. You make the Glorious Bomb a real thing on television, promote it like crazy, put him with Gargano and Ciampa, and then you have Roode, Gargano, and Ciampa team up against Sanity. And then we lead to Roode and Young in Orlando for TakeOver for the title. I think it just writes itself if they go that route.
Sort of makes sense.
Exactly. Acer says solid fatal 4-way women's title match between the 4 women. NXT title match was great. 2 new champions crowned, 2 title changes at that, not bad. Yeah, I mean, like I said, serviceable show. I have a feeling I'm gonna like some of the stuff better than things I'm gonna like at the Rumble tomorrow, but I guess it just depends. It depends on what they do. I mean, they could do a lot of really great things at the Rumble tomorrow, like let Sami Zayn win, like Kevin Owens retain, let them face off in Orlando for the Universal Championship. I want that to happen so badly. Whit says, do you think the team would get a female member to compete with Sanity? I wish
they have. It's called Nikki.
No, a female member to compete with Sanity if we do Rude, Gargano, and Ciampa as a group. The correct answer is Candice LeRae here, but that would require her to sign with the company.
From who they've got, Ember Moon.
Yeah, Ember Moon would work, but I mean, she doesn't really fit with that group. I think it would have to be an outsider.
Ember Moon, well, Athena versus Nikki Storms happened at least once, I think, in ARW.
Right, but if you look at the character of Ember Moon, she does not fit with this character. She does not fit. She does not fit with a babyface group of Bobby Roode, Johnny Gargano, and Tommaso Ciampa. Like I said, the correct answer is Candice LeRae for obvious reasons, but she's not in with the company.
If you're talking about the new intake, I'd say any one of the 4 of Kimberly, Heidi Lovelace, Evie, and Nixon Newell would be
to be honest, I would probably say either Kimberly or Nixon Newell. I think Nixon would fit the party atmosphere, but I think Kimberly would also fit exactly what this team needs. So either one would be a serviceable option. But yeah, we have a lot to think about in the time.
It probably would be Ember Moon. They'd find some way.
I'd say you're probably right, but
all of a sudden she'd become this demonic woman to just be like, I want to kick their ass, but also I want to celebrate kicking their ass.
I want to party and celebrate, exactly. So yeah, Kimberly or Nixon Newell would be the person I would choose here. With what they're doing with her, I love Mary to be involved in this since they really have no direction for her. But I guess she's really not. She's directionless right now. Whit says the Rumble tomorrow is basically just the Rumble AJ and versus Cena and Owens and Roman. Rumble's kind of lackluster, but that's because they booked it the wrong way. But we talked about this like mad on Wednesday, so I don't want to get into that. Could be some surprises.
Hang on. So the pre-show is
3
Jack
matches
versus Banks, which is who gives a shit. The tag match should be good.
Yeah, definitely.
I sense there could be another screwy finish.
Yeah, because didn't 2 referees, wasn't that the problem last time? Yeah.
Sort of. But I think this time it will probably be a case of, what was it? The SmackDown in 2002? Well, we've seen the spot done. Hell, we saw it, 2-3 weeks ago in TNA?
Right.
When Eddie was pinned and EC3 tapped.
Yeah, totally.
So one referee says that person won, and the other referee goes, no, that person won.
Of course. That's how you normally do a match like this. One's going to see Carl Anderson.
2 referees.
One sees Carl Anderson pinning Sheamus, and the other one sees Cesaro tapping out Gallows. I mean, they're going to both win. So then we get our final match.
Both get ref bumped by the others. So it's a double disqualification.
And that way we get their blow-off match finally at Fastlane. This does not need to go to WrestleMania. Well, Roman is facing Owens, no matter how much we don't want that. So Unless you're saying you just want to see Kevin Owens and AJ and Cena, which I understand that, but yeah, I mean, what else we got for tomorrow? We have the SmackDown. Let's throw all the women into a 6-person tag for some reason. Matches now in the pre-show. Pretty much. And that was
selling bloody clothes without our authority.
That was on the main card, and then that got bumped to the pre-show this past weekend.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, it's on the pre-show now. So we got 3 matches and a 2-hour pre-show, which I got partially what I wanted, but I didn't get 4 matches. We need to add another SmackDown match so I can have 2 matches on each hour, like I said.
We got the Cruiserweights, which should be a good match.
Yeah, Neville should be finally winning the title.
Swan and Neville.
Yeah.
We got the Sharknado match.
Yep.
The Sharknado no DQ.
Oh, wait a minute. This is the Universal Orlando match, because not only is it for the Universal Championship, but Chris Jericho was in Sharknado, and Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns were both in Halloween Horror Nights this past year. So yes, this is the literal Universal match.
Shark involved in the Jaws ride?
There was back in the day when Jaws existed, so yes.
There you go. It fits.
We got Charlotte against Bayley, which, yeah.
Which should be a good... I think it'll over-deliver from the hype. That's the interesting thing.
I think it'll be fine.
The sad thing is, I think Charlotte will win. I'd like it if there was an upset, because in all honesty, if Roman goes over and Cena goes over, Bayley has to go over.
Well, here's the thing. You put Charlotte over, you have her retain, and then Bayley has to fight her way back to get that final shot at Mania.
No.
And then Bayley finally gets the big win at Mania.
You need some glimmer of hope for the crowd to cling on to.
There isn't one this year at all. Not at all.
I honestly think there could be.
AJ and Cena?
Because they might go, look, if we have the wrong things happen on the main card, nobody's going to give a fuck about the Rumble. That's what I think they're concerned about.
I don't think they care. I think they just want to. They've got your money. They got your network money. They've got your building money. So I mean, they don't care if they put on a good product anymore. They just want to see what sticks.
You said the magic words. They've got my network money.
Not you, but other people. Yes.
They've got other people's network money.
Here's the thing. Yeah, me too. The thing is, when it comes down to it, you've got Cena and AJ, which I guarantee is going to steal the show, without a doubt. It's going to have to. And the thing is, if you give the time win to Cena, which is what all signs point to, and have him drop it at the Elimination Chamber to Randy Orton or Bray Wyatt without having to get pinned or having to submit or anything, I mean, and then lead to Cena and Samoa Joe, which is the rumor right now, which, yes, I don't have a problem seeing the UPW grudge match at WrestleMania. But, I mean, would they really take the title off Cena that quickly? That gives him 2 weeks with the title, and that's it. I can't guarantee AJ's going to win on Sunday. I'm guessing more money, smart money's with it with Cena, but they could keep AJ the champion and have AJ drop it at the Chamber. But the thing is, you don't give Cena that time win, and he's out of the main event picture because he's not involved with the main event picture as of this moment for WrestleMania. Neither is AJ. Yeah, a lot of things could possibly happen.
Yeah. Hang on, I should probably go to Sky Bet, shouldn't I?
Yeah, I'd like to know what the current rating right now. It sounds like Randy Orton is right now basically the leading possible winner for the Rumble tomorrow.
Let's have a look. Wrestling, yay!
While we're at it, the PGAs are going on currently, so if the show ends by the time that we get a winner for PGA, I will gladly tell that out loud.
So the odds are Cena's beating AJ,
right?
Neville's beating Swan,
right?
Charlotte's beating Bailey,
right?
And Owens is retaining.
Yep. That's what I've heard too.
In terms of the Rumble, I don't know whether there is any odds. Hang on, let's have a look. Yeah. There is no, they haven't got the Royal Rumble match listed on there. I guess because the fact that we don't know everybody.
So we got Randy Orton as a possibility. With this leading to Bray Wyatt winning the title at Mania, which I don't have a problem with that. You've got, if Goldberg wins, doesn't make any sense. If Lesnar wins, that makes no sense. Undertaker doesn't need to win. Braun Strowman definitely doesn't need to win. If they're building to the match that we're hearing they're building for Roman at Mania, then obviously that has to be set up with the Rumble match. Have Roman come out, eliminate The Undertaker, and Rollins call him out on it on Raw. He's like, don't worry, it's okay. There's a lot of things you don't understand about me. And Rollins is kind of butthurt. He's kind of like, when it comes down to it, maybe I didn't know you as well as I did. It's like, don't worry, I got your back tonight when Owens faces off against Rollins in the main event because they had to get the title back. So when this match is about over, Rollins is about to win. He gets the pedigree, and basically the referee's bumped before this happens, and no referee, and Roman ends up coming in the ring and ends up spearing Seth Rollins, and we end the first Raw after the Royal Rumble with Kevin Owens, Chris Jericho, Roman Reigns, and Triple H celebrating in the center of the ring.
For some reason, they've got odds, at least on one of the websites, that Dana White's going to be in the Rumble.
Yeah, I've heard Dana White, I've heard Donald Trump, I've heard a lot of names, actually.
Mayweather?
Yep.
Obama?
Heard all these.
I like the fact Ronda Rousey is 250 to 1 with one of the bookies, whereas David Otunga is 750.
I don't know. Actually, at this rate, I think Ronda has a better chance of winning the Royal Rumble than David Otunga does.
So looking at the, I don't know which one it's focusing on entirely, but yeah, the list of the top 5 are Orton, Taker, Goldberg, Braun, and Balor, followed by Joe, Jericho, and then Lesnar, and then Wyatt, and then Zayn rounding out the top 10.
Interesting. So yeah, like interesting things could happen at the Rumble. Like I said, I mean, Randy Orton probably winning makes sense. Goldberg, if they want Goldberg and Lesnar to be for the Universal title, you basically have Lesnar win. You have Goldberg get into the Fastlane match with Kevin Owens and win, and then Goldberg and Lesnar for the title. They really want to go that route. That's the only way that makes any sense. Undertaker winning doesn't make any sense now, especially if they're going to push him with Roman because they're not doing Undertaker and Cena this year. Maybe New Orleans will get it. Who knows? It's not going to be long, honestly. I don't think Undertaker has many matches left at this rate. It could be a surprise, Samoa Joe winning. I mean, I don't think that'll happen, but Balor is a possibility. Obviously, the big dream we've got is Sami Zayn. That'd be great. It'd be nice to see like The Miz win. Jericho winning would be great because he's never won a Royal Rumble before, and that's one of the last things he needs to do before you can say he's done literally everything. But you can't go that route now.
Ryback has odds of 200 to 1.
Hey, if he
R-Truth has odds of 250 to 1. A guy who isn't even in the company.
R-Truth
Better odds of winning.
R-Truth gets in the Royal Rumble. He's going to go to the ring, and the first thing he's going to do, he's probably going to try to roll someone up in a pin and wonder why people aren't counting.
Yeah.
That's kind of the shtick that he does. Will Tyler Bate be in the Rumble? I mean, you never know. It's a possibility, but I think Brian mentioned this past week, saying that
I'd say his contribution was done tonight.
I totally agree with you on that, because why would you put in the Royal Rumble where it's all about big guys? Why would you put Tyler Bate in the Royal Rumble? That makes no sense. How will Kofi avoid elimination this time? God, they've done almost everything at this point. I mean, I can't really think of what else you could do with Kofi's eliminations. I mean, have him get thrown over the top, get literally pressed to the barricade, and have him have to walk the barricade to get back in the ring potentially. I can't really think of anything else at this point. They've done everything with Kofi's eliminations. So, yeah, it should be an interesting show. Rumble's going to end the show, and we'll see what happens with it. This could be a good thing. This could be a bad thing. You never know.
Well, do we know if Rumble's... I think because they're advertising it as the biggest, it probably is going to end.
There's no way it's not. Not at this rate.
I don't know.
No. Nothing on this show is important enough as the
Rumble. If they're trying for it to be January 4th, they could put AJ and Cena last.
No, I doubt it. Unless that is the trade-off for SmackDown being treated like a stepchild during the show.
Then again, of course, that would mean... Actually, hang on, there's nobody on SmackDown really that's doing the ring announcing for the Rumble, is there? So I'm guessing they'll finish for the night, and then it will probably be Cole and Lawler and Corey.
Probably.
That's going to be a proper passing of the torch as well. You know, Lawler now being face and Corey being the heel.
It's a very good possibility. Yeah, I think that's our show. I mean, there were some interesting things, some people on Twitter actually saw, in the background of the Royal Rumble, logo, the one that shows all the names in font, in granite. It's listed some very interesting names that are not involved in the Royal Rumble. Don't think anything's out of that, but I mean, it could be. You never know. And I don't think we're going to see Zack Sabre Jr. and Sting in the Royal Rumble, but stranger things have happened.
Yeah.
So, just prepare for anything.
Stranger Things happens quite a lot. I'm pretty sure Stranger Things is watched every few seconds on Netflix.
I said strange things are afoot, not Stranger Things. So yes, that's going to be the end of the show tonight. I want to thank everyone for joining us. I want to thank Aiden Quinn and Jeremy Mills in chat. I want to thank Whit for joining us for a bit in chat. I want to thank Acer for joining us in chat. And thanks, everyone, for listening to our NXT Takeover San Antonio podcast. Tomorrow should be an interesting show. It's going to be mostly the Ashley show for Royal Rumble because I'm watching the Screen Actors Guild Awards with AJ. So I'm going to be watching both at the same time.
Don't and then joining you. A lot of descriptions about the flips and the flops.
Yeah, I probably won't have. Well, I mean, I can.
You know, because I'll have just got back from fucking Train Spotting too.
Right.
So I might not be in a great frame of mind.
Once again, if you are new to the network, thank you for tuning in tonight and checking out the podcast. Hopefully you'll come back and join us again tonight for the Royal Rumble. As soon as the Rumble is over, we'll go live to talk about it. Our regular wrestling shows. Monday, we talk Raw as soon as Raw is over. And on Wednesday, we have an amalgamation of everything in the wrestling world. We talk about Impact Wrestling. We talk about Ring of Honor. We talk about New Japan. We talk about the Indies. We talk about SmackDown, 205 Live, NXT, What Culture Pro Wrestling. We're one of the only podcasts I'm aware of that covers WCPW. And there's a lot going on with that company right now in more ways than one. We talk about Evolve. We talk about British wrestling. We talk about all sorts of various things. So that's going to be taken care of on the Wednesday Wrestling Podcast, 9 p.m. on Wednesday night. And then we're back for another wrestling podcast the same night as the BAFTAs, February 12th for Elimination Chamber. So, yeah. But, Ashley, where can we find you on social media?
Follow me on Twitter, Ashley's My Name UK.
Okay.
I don't know why I did it like that. But...
I don't either, really. Yeah. So real quick, if you are inclined, you're more than welcome to follow the network on Twitter at Popcast Network. Check me out on Twitter at Saroa Disney. We have a Patreon if you really want to show support, and that's at Popcast Network on Patreon. Our Facebook fan page, still close to 200 likes. I really appreciate all of you that have liked the page. You guys and girls out there are super awesome. Thank you again for supporting the network. It's a Popcast Network on Facebook. We have Zazzle merch, new stuff coming out very soon, and that's available at Popcast Network. And I will give you some quick programming notes here. It is now Sunday, and your verses will be coming out. We're going to be talking about Dirty Cops in all the right ways. That's going to be coming up this week. And our Royal Rumble podcast is tonight. Monday will be the best films of 2016 list. We got that out. That's going to be available. Gaming with Ash will be coming later this week. We've got Sip and Snack coming on Thursday, and then we're back with AJ's movie reviews next week. We've got Jackie in Silence, along with the new releases of the week of The Space Between Us and Rings. So that's going to be coming soon, and back with another verses next week as well. So we got all that content coming very soon. Like I said, big shout out to Acer, as always. If you like what you're hearing from Acer in chat, if you see him, if you're checking him out on chat, you can find him at Acer5000 on YouTube, at Acer1337, yes, in a row. That's on Twitter. That's you can find out the podcast you should be listening to, wrestling and or otherwise. It was nice to have him back tonight. Nice to hear from Jeremy Mills tonight. Nice to have Whit join us for tonight, too. Usually get to talk to him on Popcast Network business and basically the stuff we do with the rest of the elite on the Halloween Horror Nights podcast, which should be coming around again very soon. So that being said, I want to thank you guys and girls out there for watching. I'm going to go continue to follow along with the PGAs right now, which are currently going on the West Coast. And until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all we got to say about that.
Hashtag free Sami Zayn.
Yes, free Sami Zayn indeed. There's only one Acer, often imitated, never quite duplicated.